Welcome back, dear ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between. Today we're going to fly on Turkish Airlines brand new A350, and I'm taking you guys along on this journey. Buckle up as we depart from Istanbul and fly all over the European continent up to London. Disclaimer: this report isn't sponsored by anyone, just me sharing my personal experience. Please note that it's impossible to judge an airline based on a single flight, and I encourage you to make your own judgment. If anything in this video offends you, feel free to jog off. Good morning from Istanbul. Today we'll be flying Turkish Airlines A350 to London Heathrow. I tried to get an upgrade to business class with miles or cash or anything, but unfortunately it did not work out. So we'll have to fly in coach. But I'm still excited what the flight has to offer. I hope I will see the flight because now I'm quite late. Still at the hotel, so I have to get going now and see you at the airport. Today's journey starts in Istanbul, or better said, at the so-called airport hotel in the middle of nowhere. As I have to go to the airport, I do what my favorite bushman does for his girls after a couple minutes of fun, ordering an Uber. From here to the airport is about 25 minutes, which shouldn't be too much. But as I've learned from experience, and once again had to relearn the night before, in Turkey, Uber is absolutely no guarantee that you won't get scammed. And of course, this ride was no exception. About halfway into the ride, the driver asks me if I have a credit card with me. And being the absolute genius I am, I say yes. He then obviously hands me his phone with a message essentially saying that Uber isn't working today and that I need to pay him directly on top of the fare already charged through the app, and yeah bro, sure. I didn't want to upset him, especially since I was already running late, so I told him we'll see. As we reach the airport, obviously I can confirm that the card has already been charged through the app. And at this point, a bit of a confrontation ensues and it gets a little heated. I was a bit annoyed, but I kept my shit together as this is not the first time this happens. I kid you not, this happens basically every single time here. I really like traveling around Turkey. It's such a beautiful and diverse and unique country, but damn, the taxi drivers are really something else. To be fair, I've met a few honest and friendly ones, but never in Istanbul. In the end, I leave this place, a city and country I actually truly like, once again with a bitter taste in my mouth, feeling agitated, annoyed, and to be honest, a bit frustrated. As one of the most visited cities in the world, the Istanbul metropolitan area is served by two international airports. Today we're flying out of an airport creatively named Istanbul International Airport. Located on the European side of the city, this airport opened in 2019 and has already made quite a name for itself. It has replaced the old Istanbul Atatürk Airport and is now the hub for most premium carriers, including the mighty Turkish Airlines. The second airport serving the city is called Istanbul Sabiha Gökçen International, sitting on the Asian side of the city. It mainly operates as a base for budget airlines such as Pegasus Airlines and Anadolu Jet, the low-cost daughter of Turkish Airlines. Turkish Airlines' main brand, however, exclusively flies out of Istanbul International. And from here, they fly to more places than any other airline in the world. They fly as far as Melbourne, Santiago de Chile and Cape Town. Before heading to security, I briefly considered whether I should waste more time and go to the counter to ask about upgrade options. But let's be real, anyone who knows this channel already knows that this flight in economy is basically already an upgrade compared to my usual flights. So I decided to skip it. Unlike some other YouTubers, I don't only fly business class. As usual in Turkey, the security checks at the airport are thorough, but in about 15 to 20 minutes I'm through both security and passport control. Here is when you really get a sense of just how massive this airport is. With over 76 million passengers per year, Istanbul International ranks as the 7th most frequented airport in the world. That's more than 200,000 passengers a day on average, and it's clear to see it's bustling. Also, given how large the airport is, you definitely need to factor in enough time as distances between gates can be surprisingly long. Luckily we have a bit of extra time today as our flight is delayed by 20 minutes. Our gate, B1, is conveniently one of the nearest, and on the way there I paused the IGA Premium Lounge. Thanks to my priority pass, I have access, and while I think this lounge is one of the best ones around, I'm not the only one with that opinion, and therefore it's also one of the busiest. I think there's no bigger priority pass lounge than this one anywhere, and it's got everything. Plenty of seating, a private duty-free area, an outdoor smoker's terrace, a quiet zone for those who need a nap or just want to escape from the chaos, and various indoor terraces for, well, whatever reasons you might need a terrace indoors. It can get packed though, and at times it feels like there are more people inside than outside. But I won't bore you with lounge details, after all this is a Turkish Airlines review and not a lounge review. Therefore, after a quick lunch, I make my way out of the lounge and head towards my gate, B1. It's actually pretty close by Istanbul airport standards, but still a good few steps away. By the way, totally off topic, but does anyone here know the fast food chain Airbus? We don't have it where I'm from, so I've never tasted it, but I hear it's pretty popular here in Turkey. I'm not a picky eater, but something about it looks strange. I can't really put my finger on it, but I'm torn between wanting to try and also feeling like I'm not sure if I should. And here it is, our stunning A350-900 registered TC-LGR, which rolled off the production line in Toulouse just a couple of months ago. Despite being fresh off the assembly line, this plane already has quite a story to tell, and that's a quite tragic one, unfortunately. Just a month before I took this flight, the captain of this very aircraft suffered a medical emergency during a flight from Seattle to Istanbul. The first officer took over, initiated an emergency landing and brought the plane down safely in New York. Unfortunately, any help for the 59-year-old captain was too late, as he had already passed away at the time of touchdown. So, for anyone who seriously still thinks one pilot is enough, well, if there had only been one, I wouldn't be boarding this very plane today.
Final call for all passengers traveling on TK1985 to London Heathrow. Please proceed immediately to gate number B1.
Welcome aboard. My seat for this 4.5-hour flight today is 34A. The legroom is 79 centimeters or 31 inches, which is about average for a wide body, judging by European standards. It's the same on the A350 of British Airways, Lufthansa and Air France. But also Middle Eastern carriers like Qatar Airways or Etihad, which operate the Dash 1000 version, you get the same legroom of 79 centimeters in cattle class. By the way, you can also fly from Istanbul to London on Wizz Air for about 35 British pounds, whereas this flight costs exactly 4 times that. If you're considering flying with Wizz Air, make sure to check out my 2 Wizz Air reports on this channel, one from Basel to Sofia and one from Milan to Reykjavik. You'll get a good idea of what you're in for, whether you're looking to save a bit or just curious about how the budget airline experience compares. The cabin of this A350 looks pretty decent, and of course everything is still very new and shiny. It even has that signature new plane smell, which smells like success, with a hint of polypropylene. Honestly, it's almost better than the new car smell and nearly as satisfying as the new house smell. Aside from the in-flight entertainment system, which we'll dive into later, this Turkish Airlines A350 flight also comes with some nice amenities like free headphones, a pillow and adjustable headrest for a little extra comfort. Plus, under the screen there's a USB Type-C and USB Type-C outlet, so you can charge your phone after takeoff or even connect it to the screen.
Cabin crew, be seated for takeoff, uçuşlar.
We have left Turkey behind us and now the incredibly boring part of the flight starts. Luckily, your boy Johnny G is here to entertain you. Now, let's talk about food. While Turkey may not be top-notch when it comes to running an economy or playing football, one thing they absolutely nail is cooking. So naturally, my expectations were pretty high, even for economy class. And boy, I was not let down. Turkish Airlines is renowned for its catering, and I can certainly see why. For lunch, or actually I had lunch already at the lounge, so let's call it after lunch, pre-dinner, dinner lunch, dunch. Anyway, for the meal that fat people like me eat in the afternoon after eating a full lunch already, I get bombarded with calories again, and I love it. The calories mainly come in the form of köfte. For those of you that don't know, köfte are kind of meatballs. However, I can't tell you the origin of this dish without sparking a full-out war, as it is basically claimed by every single country from Bosnia all the way to India. Alongside that, there's a salad, some sort of cheesecake and a bun with butter, for the Brits on board. We even get metal cutlery, which makes me feel much less of the brokey I am. Now, one of the few things both Turkey and the UK love is tea, so obviously there's also some of that. As I was maxing out my dopamine receptors with all that food and enjoying the view, I didn't even notice that the in-flight entertainment system wasn't working until it rebooted and I was ready to binge watch everything inside. So yeah, if you haven't figured it out yet, or if you're a time traveler from the 13th century wondering what that massive thing in front of me is, it's a 13-inch HD touchscreen. It's very responsive and offers enough content to fly around the globe a few times. Movies, series and music from all over the world, games, a flight map, cameras, you name it. They also have AirTube, a bunch of YouTube channels on the IFE system, including one of my all-time favorite channels, Kurskesat. Maybe one day Johnny G will be off there, but that might take some time. Another thing that might take some time is the ability to connect your AirPods to the IFE. I wonder if that will ever happen since no one uses cable headphones anymore, but it might be a bit complicated to connect since there are so many seats. As I mentioned, there are USB Type 3 and USB-C outlets. However, there is no universal power supply. They have it on their A330s and 777s, so I don't understand why they don't have it on the A350. It feels a bit like a downgrade. There's also the possibility to connect to Wi-Fi, but for a regular economy hillbilly like me, it's not free. Prices start at $5 for messaging and go up to $35 for unlimited internet, which is rather steep considering it's more expensive than the whole flight from Istanbul to London on Wizz Air. But for $35 you wouldn't be flying on the A350, a plane that is truly supreme. It's super quiet, the windows are huge and the lighting is great. Also, the cabin pressure is optimized to about 6,000 feet, 2,000 feet lower than most other airplanes, which reduces jet lag, physical stress on the body and dehydration while improving blood circulation. Honestly, I didn't really notice it, but a good thing about this advanced air system is that the air fully clears every 2 minutes. So if some of that uniquely smelling köfte produces some uniquely smelling gases in your stomach, this stuff is instantly sucked up and dumped somewhere over the clouds.
Ve koltuk cebinde bulunan emniyet kartınızı inceleyiniz. Teşekkür ederiz.
Dear passengers, as we are descending, make sure that
Yolcularımız Londra Heathrow Havalimanı'ndan bağlantılı bir uçuş olmayan yolcuların bagajlarını almak üzere Terminal 2 Arrival'a bağlantılı uçuşlarına devam edecek yolcularımızın ise.
So what's the verdict on Turkish Airlines brand new A350? Well, let's break it down. If you've watched this far, you've noticed that Turkish Airlines absolutely knows how to put on a show, even in economy class. The A350 is a beauty. Super quiet, comfy and slick, it really does feel like flying into the future. The cabin pressure is optimized for your well-being, which is a nice touch when you're already dealing with the chaos that is air travel. A point where Turkish Airlines truly shines is catering. The food is leagues ahead of what you'd expect in the economy class, and I really enjoyed it. Also, obviously metal cutlery in economy is a nice touch. But of course nothing is perfect. The Wi-Fi pricing, for example, is pretty steep. Furthermore, the lack of universal power outlet is a bit confusing. You've got a brand new A350 but can't give you the option to charge your laptop. Also, while it hasn't personally affected me, I've heard stories from friends who had to deal with flight changes and their customer service, and from what they've told me, it was a nightmare. Still, would I recommend flying with Turkish Airlines A350? Hell yeah, I would. It's comfortable, stylish, and the airline knows how to treat its passengers. The flight itself is top-notch, but obviously is nothing compared to Turkish Airlines in business class. Check out this video here. Thank you so much for watching, and see you soon.